All right, today we're jumping into a source that paints a truly radical picture of our future. It's called the Electric Technocracy. And it's not just a small change, it's a proposal to reinvent our entire society for an age where AI and automation do pretty much everything. Let's see what that actually looks like.
Seriously, just imagine it for a second. You wake up one day, and your job, my job, pretty much every job on the planet just doesn't exist anymore. Not because of some disaster, but because machines can just do it all and do it better. This isn't just a fun thought experiment, it's the huge question this source puts right at the center of the conversation.
You know, for basically all of human history, our survival has been locked to our jobs. The money we earn pays our bills, and the taxes on that money pay for society. But the argument here is that this entire system, this bedrock of our world, is starting to crack and crumble. And it's all because of a technological revolution that's unlike anything we've ever seen before.
So the old model is broken. That's a gig claim, right? But how is it broken exactly? Well, the source gives a pretty startling diagnosis of what it sees as the crisis we're already in.
Look, this isn't just about losing some jobs here and there. The source argues that the fundamental link between a person's effort and economic value is being snapped. And when machines are the ones creating almost all the value, the whole system of funding society through our income taxes it starts to starve. Who's going to pay for the schools, the roads, the hospitals?
So, if the whole system is heading for collapse, what's the fix? Well, the source we're explaining today says to forget the usual ideas like universal basic income. It's proposing something completely different. It's not a safety net, it's a dividend.
And here is the absolute key difference. A traditional UBI is usually seen as a patch on the old system, right? You're just moving money from one group of people to another. But the electric technocracy model, it flips the whole table. It's not about shuffling human earnings around, it's about sharing the brand new wealth that machines are creating. It's not welfare, it's your share, your dividend, from a system we all own.
And this is the radical heart of it all. Humans become tax-free. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. A world where the entire financial burden of running society isn't on people at all, but on the automated systems that are generating all the value.
Okay, a tax-free humanity, a dividend funded by machines, it all sounds pretty good, maybe a little too good. So how on earth would a system like this actually work? Well, the source lays out a global architecture built on three main pillars.
Pillar number one is the economic engine, and the principle is simple but revolutionary. You tax the technology, not the people. There's a moral argument here too. A machine doesn't feel the burden of taxes, right? It doesn't get stressed about it, but we do. So this principle just shifts that entire weight from us, the conscious beings, onto the purely functional machines.
Now, pillar two is where we get into governance, and yeah, it sounds a little sci-fi. It involves an ASI, an artificial superintelligence, but, and this is a huge but, the source is very clear, this ASI is not a robot overlord, it's not a dictator, it's a hyper-logical advisor. Its whole job is to look at incredibly complex global problems and spit out solutions that are completely free of human greed, ego, or politics.
And that flows right into the third and final pillar, the political part. The ASI proposes solutions, but humanity, we get to decide. The idea is a secure, global voting system, direct digital democracy, where every single person has a direct say. In a world like that, the source argues, things like political parties and powerful lobbyists, they just kind of become obsolete.
So let's just take a step back. Machines are doing all the work, a superintelligent AI is helping us run the world, which leads to a pretty big question. What's left for us? What's the point of being human in the electric technocracy?
Well, according to the source, our purpose undergoes this massive shift. We stop being cogs in a giant production machine, and we become the creative engine of civilization. Our most valuable asset isn't our labor anymore. It's our imagination, our ability to dream. The source uses this fantastic metaphor for it. We become wishmasters, like something out of a myth. You, the human, you have an idea, a piece of art, a new building, a scientific breakthrough. The ASI then takes that wish and figures out the most perfect, efficient way to make it a reality. And then the robots, they're like the djinn from the old stories. They just execute the plan and bring your vision to life.
But all this freedom, it creates its own profound challenge, and the source doesn't shy away from it. For thousands of years, our purpose has been wrapped up in struggle, right? Providing for our families, overcoming challenges. When all of that is just gone, what do you live for? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
And that question brings us to the final and maybe the most critical point of this whole vision. The argument is that this transition to a world with superintelligence, well, it's not guaranteed to be a paradise. In fact, humanity is standing at a massive fork in the road.
That fork in the road is the technological singularity, that moment when AI officially surpasses human intelligence, and is presented not as a possibility, but as an inevitability. It's not a question of if it happens, but of how we choose to manage it. And that choice will literally define the future of our species.
The source lays out two possible futures, two paths we can take. One path leads to digital serfdom. A tiny handful of people control the ASI, they control all the wealth, and the rest of humanity becomes completely dependent on them. The other path leads to an electronic paradise, where this incredible new power is treated like the air we breathe, a common resource for everyone, creating a world of shared prosperity and total creative freedom.
This quote from the source just nails it. It boils this entire massive, complex issue down to one single choice about who owns the future. Will 10 trillion machines work for the profit of a few, or will they work for the freedom of all?
And that's where this explainer leaves us, with a vision of a potential utopia, a stark warning of a potential dystopia, and one final, really provocative question. The argument is that this isn't really a technical problem anymore. It's a question of human courage. The technology is coming no matter what. The only thing left to decide is what kind of world we're going to build with it.